in this, and it's has these features, and has more features than the other company, therefore you should pay
Yeah.
us, or we have the same amount of features but we're cheaper. And I just don't feel like that level of thoughtfulness is in most digital uh, products. But when you think about ones that have done very well, you've seen that they've treated it as a brand exercise, and that they've really narrowed in on like the customer avatar that they're trying to serve while designing.
Yeah, look at a brand like Salesforce, right? Like the way that they kind of have all of these different characters with this kind of like national parks theme. They didn't have to do that, right? Like at the end of the day, like that's not what their product does, but they're able to kind of personify their product in their brand in a way that I think connects with a little bit more deeply. I think they call that design language trailhead, if I remember right. And you can look it up. But I think it's a great example of taking this is like a back end software product, but taking those kind of like consumer branding kind of approach to what could be what could leave you flat if they didn't do that. Um, and again, I think I get back to my work with Cure, creating these wall and ceiling systems from recycled PET, and they improve the acoustics of rooms, right? That's their reason to be, is to take the echo out of room. And that could be very boring, right? That could be super dry, but we try to present it in a way that is fun, is engaging. It's about design and being bold, and not about, oh, yeah, make sure you have the speeds and feeds marketing, I call it. And that doesn't usually connect with people. And again, you get back like Microsoft versus Apple, or what have you in those spaces, New Balance versus Nike. I think focusing on the aspiration is what's going to connect with people. And again, not to you said you didn't want to put money in the Apple jar. I'll try not to put too much money in the Nike jar, but even from the naming of the company, right? They didn't call it like Really Good Shoes Inc. They named it after the Greek goddess of victory. And that should tell you something from like the first decisions made at the company of where the core principles were. Again, I want to try to encourage clients to do that, because that's the difference between a 500 million billion-dollar sneaker brand to a $40 billion sneaker brand, right? Is that much deeper connection that becomes a part of culture, right? It's like you wouldn't ever think of sneakers or footwear and not think of Nike. And how do you be that? Um, and I think I try to do it even in my own person. I have a very small practice. I talk to a very small amount of people. And I was at a design conference, and I was having drinks after the conference with some other designers. And one of them said, "You really can't go a week without thinking of Michael DiTullo." And I love that. I was like, that's exactly, I want to be kind of synonymous, right, with what I do. Just like I want my clients to be synonymous with what they do. Like, how do you become a Kleenex? How do you become a Xerox, where your brand becomes synonymous with the entire category? That's my goal.
And with the
Yeah.
action, right? And
To Google something.
those
It's
like
like it's yeah, with the action. It's like they to become synonymous with the category, and then if you could become synonymous with the action, you're like so embedded in culture, it's impossible to rip out.
yeah, I think the greatest form of success is becoming a
Yeah.
meme. If right, um, because you have raving fans, because you've served a congregation rather than customer. You've found believers. And I think that like the design software Figma did an amazing job at that. You go to their conferences, it's almost like a cult.